Hi, my name is Julia and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm making a tiered dress using some lightweight organic cotton fabric. This is one of the projects that I talked about in my sewing plans video. I'll be following the same self-drafted pattern that I used to create this dress, but altering it slightly so that it's a bit shorter in length. What I love about this pattern is that it's very loose-fitting, comfortable, and perfect for warm weather. And because there are so many gathers in the fabric, it just moves really nicely. I'm excited to make a version of this dress in white, so let's jump right into it. I start by tracing my pattern piece onto the fabric and cutting it out. This is the only part that uses a pattern. The rest is done by measurements. These are all the pieces. I cut 4 of the bodice pieces because it's going to be lined, and there are 2 pieces for each tier of the dress. I set my machine to the longest stitch length and sew 2 lines of gathering stitches on the top tier. I then gather the fabric until it's the same width as the bottom edge of the bodice. I place the gathered edge of the tier on one of the bodice pieces, lining it up, and sandwich it between another bodice piece. This way, all of the raw edges will be enclosed. Next, I sew the 3 layers together using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I repeat this for the other side of the dress, and after ironing, the pieces look like this. I finish off the raw edges of the fabric with a rolled hem. One of the reasons I'm thankful that I bought a used sewing machine is because it came with all of the presser feet that the previous owner had purchased. And if I hadn't inherited this presser foot, I probably wouldn't have known that a rolled hem foot even existed. And it came in very handy for this project. I then sew 2 lines of gathering stitches and gather the second fabric tier, this time making sure it matches the length of the previous tier. Here I am arranging the gathers so that they're nice and even. I lay the previous tier on top with right sides together and pin the second tier in place. I then stitch them together, making sure my sewing falls between the 2 lines of gathering stitches. And this is how the dress is looking so far. At this point, I ironed the seam so that the gathers lay a little flatter. I added a 3rd tier using the same process as the previous one, and then I repeated everything for the back. I assemble the dress starting with the shoulder seams. For these, I am doing French seams. I then pin bias binding around the neckline and sew it on using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I trim off the excess seam allowance, press the binding to the other side, and top stitch to secure it in place. The footage for the rest of the dressmaking process is lost. I don't know where it ended up or if it accidentally got deleted, but luckily there weren't too many steps left, so I'll just talk you through what I did. For the side seams, I finished them with French seams, and I finished the armholes with bias binding just like I did for the neckline. After that, the dress was finished. Well, not quite, because I tried it on and realized that the lightweight fabric I had used was quite a bit sheerer than I would have liked. So I decided to add a lining using some slightly heavier weight cotton. I made it the same width as the top tier of the dress and graded it out very slightly towards the bottom. The bottom of the lining is nowhere near as wide as the bottom tier of the dress, but it works fine. I then gathered up the top part of the lining and hand stitched it to the inner layer of the bodice. And my tiered dress was finally finished. So here's how it turned out. This dress turned out exactly as I imagined. The lining makes it feel a little bit more substantial and voluminous in the skirt, which I think is perfect. I love how puffy and gathered it is and how much fun it is to wear. It feels light and super breathable, so I know I'll be getting a lot of use out of it this summer. I really like the dress in this length. I think it works really well in white, and I am already looking forward to the day when it will inevitably get stained, because then I'll have the opportunity to be creative with it again by finding a natural way to add color to it to cover up the stains. Maybe even using some shibori. But we're a long way from that now, and I am totally happy with the way this dress turned out. Let me know what you think of it, and if you enjoyed watching this video, it would mean a lot to me if you would give it a like, and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to see more sewing videos like this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!